Two middle-aged men in Cleveland, Ted Klopp, Ken Dworsnik. Ted is wearing a shirt that says, "Who's your daddy?"
Yeah.
That is the best. I love it. Episode 137.
We skipped a couple
Doing?
weeks.
I feel like I haven't talked to you
Yeah.
in like weeks.
Well,
It seems like there's so much stuff that has happened, schooling ending, camps beginning, so many other things going on. We have not had the chance to talk. How the heck are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. Busy as always, but just keep on rolling.
Busy working, busy living,
Busy living,
thriving.
busy. Yes. Too many camps.
Got a lot of camps.
A lot of camps.
Well, speaking of camps, we could start with this, and then I have a very interesting story that happened to me.
Okay.
What do we have for camp so far?
Well,
we're involved with the children.
So the first week of summer vacation, Monday, June 3rd, we had a marching band camp and a golf camp at Walsh. One was 2 days, one was 3 days.
Love the Warriors.
Yeah. Last week we had an esports camp in the morning for the oldest, esports camp in the afternoon for the two youngers. And also in the morning, we had a soccer camp.
Where was your esports camp?
That was at Holy Name.
Holy Name. Boy, you're just hitting all the Catholic schools. This is great.
Oh, yeah.
The Green Wave. You went from the Warriors to the Green Wave. I love it.
Attendance knows no bounds.
That is great.
Yeah. This week, we have just one kid doing camp. The other two are taking it easy.
You got to take it easy. It's the summer.
You got to take it easy.
You got to take it easy.
Tired. They're tired.
Yep.
My son came out of hockey yesterday. He said, "Do I have anything tomorrow?" I said, "You have a baseball game." Oh, I said, "What's the matter?" "I'm tired."
He's tired.
I said, "You're 10. Anyhow.
Where are the camps for this week?
Well, we have the morning camp, Code with AI. That's in Parma with the Padua Bruins.
Oh, the Bruins. There we go. I love it.
And then in the afternoon, we take that kid over to Gilmore, right next door, and he goes to Python programming camp.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
So we're just a record-setting camp group here, I guess.
Yep. Well, it's, at the younger ages, it's nice to get those kids involved with those different things just because they need those experiences. My daughter is in a dance camp, and then my son has no camps. We're out of camps. We're just running and working is what we're doing. It's very interesting.
Next week will be easy. All three of them are going to the captain's baseball camp.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Is that right at the field? Is that what it is?
That's where it looks like. And on Thursday, they have an 11 o'clock game that they'll attend.
I did notice on Facebook, because that's how I follow your life. There was a picture of you, I believe, at a captain's baseball game. Is that correct?
There was a picture. Yes, we had.
You were holding something. I didn't want to say it. What were you holding?
That is a baseball bat of beer.
Oh, okay. I was a little confused. I want to make sure that's what that was. Okay.
Yes, that's what that was.
Very nice.
I came to the conclusion that while unique, the baseball bat of beer is kind of annoying and probably not worth the effort because you can't put it in a cup holder.
No.
You can't set it down.
No.
You got to drink the whole thing before you can put it down.
Yeah, I would agree. I've done that before and I had the same experience.
So that night was, you'll love this, it was wrestling night at the captain's.
Really?
So in the left field concourse, they had the Mega Wrestling had a ring set up, and they had matches going on during the game.
Come on, seriously?
So, I don't know, 30, 40 people standing around maybe watching the wrestling. And so this is what I was confused by. I mean, I don't know how many wrestling organizations there are in Greater Cleveland. Mega Wrestling is out of Lorain.
It is. Yes.
Okay. The Captains play in East Lake.
Yes, they do.
Those are not exactly next door. Those
No,
are
they're not.
like two camp locations for my kids.
Right.
So
Yes.
I was a little surprised, but whatever. The match that I saw that I enjoyed, there was a gentleman with I think dreads in a bun or some kind of a hair bun, and he had all kinds of tie-dyed stuff on. His name was LSD, and he was wrestling some other guy who was a cowboy,
Okay.
and he was put together. His physique, he had as much room to be out in public with his shirt off as I do. But they wrestled throughout the whole. Not those two.
Yeah.
They had. I don't know how often they changed, but they had several matches going on, and all of my kids checked it out, and so yeah, we had the mega wrestling.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Only in minor league baseball would you have something like that. You
Well-
don't see that with many other sports.
Now, I didn't post this on Facebook, but I don't know. I have no background in this, but there was a giraffe walking around the captain's game in its underwear.
A giraffe?
A giraffe.
Is that the giraffe from Toys R Us? Or
Could be.
'cause he lost his job. I mean, they
He
closed
could
those Toys
be,
R Us's, and he's
But
got
he
nowhere
had
to go.
he had his drawers. He had just the tidy whities.
Wow.
And late in the game, he mooned the pitcher, and then was trying to walk up the ramp, and his feet got a little tied up, and so some patron had to get his underwear off of his feet. So
Once again, that only happens at minor league baseball.
that's yeah.
But it is entertaining. Those games are entertaining.
Yeah.
There's always something.
Oh, they do a great job out there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And
It looks
prices-
like even you had great seats.
Yeah, those we were 3 rows back from the field. That's $20 a ticket.
That's great. That's just great. You can't
Sign
beat
me
that.
up.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Now, you have a new driver in your house?
We do. Yes. Riley, my son, is now driving. How do I know this? Because I look at what of my insurance payments now are from State Farm. That reminds me.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been driving since May, and he's been really good. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a vehicle, 2004 Jeep Laredo, a Grand Cherokee, and he's taking care of it. He's driving well. They have these apps now. We have this Drive Safe program that we're on to help lower insurance rates, and it shows me what he's been doing and all that. He's been doing great. Yeah. Doing that, and he's working. He's working at Drug Mart,
Well, there you go.
which is super exciting in Medina. So he's been doing that, and yeah, he's living his best life. Going to Drug Mart. This past weekend, he went to Cedar Point with some friends, and yeah, he's doing
Did
great.
he drive to Cedar Point?
No,
No,
we're
no, no.
local. We're only local right now.
Local,
We're,
okay.
we're gonna wait a little bit before we allow that. We'll allow maybe a year or so go before we start making trips like that. But no, he's doing
What
great.
have you ridden with him?
I have.
Have
Yeah.
you kept track of how many times you have attempted to press the invisible brake?
Yes, and that's probably the biggest issue that he has right now with driving. The braking is for this app that I have. I mean, people probably know what I'm talking about. This Drive Safe program. They show you all the different things. So how your cornering is, if you're touching your phone, if you're speeding and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff has been great with him. There's no issues with that. The biggest issue is braking.
Yeah.
Like he's still not understanding the ease of the brake and all that stuff. So we're working on that. But yeah, multiple times that I've driven with him, I feel like I'm going to go through the windshield. So we're going to stop. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember
Just
my
experience.
father, when he would ride with me, that was back when the dashboard was much farther out than they are now.
Oh, yes.
He wouldn't say anything, but I could always tell when he was getting nervous because the slap of the dashboard with the hand. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is outstanding.
Well, coming up on this week's show, Riley isn't the only one who's been driving. Ken has been driving as well, and we're going to find out what he's been behind the wheel of. I went to I've been coaching a baseball team, and we'll talk about that. And drinks at a bar lead to a world record. How about that? We have that and more coming up.
And now, a woman's perspective.
Of course, women don't work as hard as men. We get it right the first time.
This has been a woman's perspective.
Ken, we have some good news. A New York man who goes magnet fishing in the city's waterways. That must be I guess
In the waterways?
in New York, the magnet fishing is a thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So just throw that magnet in there and see what comes back. Anyhow, this guy pulled up quite the find. James Kane pulled a safe out of a lake in Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. In the safe were lots of wet Benjamin Franklins.
Oh, geez.
Kane and his girlfriend guess there's about $100 grand in cash from the safe. Cops checked it out, found no evidence of a crime, so they get to keep it.
That's awesome. They deserve it.
Yeah.
You finders keepers, I believe is the terminology. Well, Ted, we also have some other good news. So 6 members of a high school class of 1944, I repeat, 1944,
My goodness.
recently celebrated their 80th class reunion in Oregon. They got together at the same Denny's that has hosted their gatherings for several years. These classmates are all almost 100 years old.
Wow.
Do you think you and I will be doing that? Where will we go? It'd probably be Danny's Deli. Do you
I don't
see
know,
us
but-
going to Danny's Deli
Could
to
be.
celebrate our, well, for you, maybe your 80th and my, 76th or something like
Yeah,
that?
something like that.
Do you think we can go to Danny's Deli and do that?
I don't know, but in this day and age, if you're having your 80th class reunion, where else would you have it other than Denny's?
That's where I would have it.
Yeah,
Denny's would be the place.
yeah. But Danny's Deli seems like a good
That
option.
makes sense for us.
Keep it local.
Oh,
Do you think what's our friend's name over there?
Tony?
Tony. Will Tony serve us at our 80th class reunion?
Good. I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
He seems like the type of guy that's going to be around for a very long time. There's no
Okay. All right. Well, stay tuned. Will we be doing this podcast at that event?
That's a great question. We'll probably have to do it on a different type of technology because I imagine Zoom will be done and no one will even know what Spotify is anymore. It'll be some other type of app.
Right. What can driving?
Ted, we had a couple of work trips, and when I do that, I like to let people know about my experience with different vehicles. So I actually, it's been so long since we've done our podcast. I have 4 different vehicles to discuss,
Oh, good.
but I drove the same car twice.
Oh, well,
So
Okay.
I could talk about one of them. We'll get out of there. The Nissan Altima, which I'm a huge fan of.
yeah.
Once again, very solid vehicle. The insides are very nice when it comes to electronics. It's one, obviously, and I think most of the vehicles now you could set up with the Apple CarPlay. So you just basically have the usage of your phone and all that stuff. Very nice ride, great gas mileage and all that stuff. So I drove that twice. The Toyota Corolla.
Wait a minute. This is the Nissan Altima.
Yeah, the Altima.
Okay. We got to go to the honk meter.
Oh my gosh, I completely forgot about the honks. My bad.
How many honks does the Nissan? What do we know? What year this is?
Oh, it's brand new. It's only got
Brand
like
new. Okay.
10,000 miles on
How
it.
many honks does the 2023 or 2024 Nissan Altima get? This is out of 5 now.
Can you give me a half a honk? So could I go
Sure.
4.5 honks?
Sure.
That'd be a, and then,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. That's definitely where I'm at with that, with the Nissan. As I mentioned before, I'm looking at I think I've driven the same car like 4 times this year. So
All right. So how many honks for the Nissan Altima?
4.5.
4.5. Okay. All right. What's our next one?
Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
Which I was
Do we
a
know
little
what year? Are these
all these cars are brand new.
brand new? Okay.
All brand new.
Okay.
Great vehicle. I'm not gonna lie, when they said here, you're gonna take the Corolla, I'm like, I like to take bigger vehicles, not because I'm some sort of bougie dude. But for safety purposes. You know, I think about, okay, if I'm in an accident, what would you rather be in? A larger vehicle, but that's all they had. So they said, take the Corolla. It was nice. It really was. It was very nice. Once again, rode very well. Amazing on gas mileage. And it had enough guts that I felt like I wasn't going to die, if that makes sense, when you're getting on and off highways and all that stuff. So when it comes to honks,
Yes. What's the
I would
honk?
give the Corolla, I'm going to say 3 honks.
3 honks.
Yeah. I'm not going to probably end up giving any car 5 honks unless it's something absolutely amazing, but 3 honks, which in my book is pretty good.
Okay.
And then the last vehicle is the Jeep. I got to get this. I think it's the Jeep Commander is what it was. Brand new vehicle. It's kind of the smaller SUV. I must say, it was very nice as well. Drove extremely well. I was worried about the gas mileage on that, but I will say that was a nice vehicle. Hooked up very well, once again, with the Apple Play, plenty of room. It had all kind of different outlets that you needed and all that kind of stuff. So I was super impressed. So yeah, Jeep Commander. Also, I'm going to give that 4 honks.
4 honks.
Yes.
All right. So since the last podcast, which was a mere 5 weeks ago,
Yeah.
we have 2 trips in an Altima, 1 in a Corolla, 1 in a Commander. The Corolla, the lowest of the 3, but not a bad vehicle by any means, with 3 honks. Jeep Commander gets 4, and the Nissan Altima, your highest rated vehicle, at 4.5.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. What can driving? Overachievers, Ken. 2 Frenchmen have earned a Guinness World Record. Nicolas Barras and David Peyrou took a couple of years to create what is now recognized as the world's tallest rideable bicycle. They say they came up with the idea while having a drink at a pub. And if I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Most of the greatest ideas come from a drink at a pub.
Oh, yes.
The bike is 25 feet, 5 inches tall. That beats the old record by a little more than a foot.
Can you see yourself riding something like that?
No.
Wow. Are there 3 wheels on the thing? It looks like it's a 2-wheeler thing. No.
I mean, I remember seeing some of those pictures in the 1900s of the tall bikes, but I don't think they were that big.
I think the Wright brothers were riding those.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, right before they took off.
Yeah. No, I'm not seeing myself do that. We're not going to attempt that one.
No?
That's to the 2 Frenchmen. Let them do it.
All right.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Time for some Cleveland sports talk, and that means only one person and one person only. Dusty Sloan joining us. Dusty, we move to May 24th, 1918. Cleveland starter, the Polish crippler, Stan Kowalewski, he sets the club record for the most innings pitched in 19 in a complete game as the Indians beat the New York Yankees 3-2 at the Polo Grounds in New York. Dusty, obviously, I don't think you saw the game, but what research did you find about Stan Kowalewski, who's pitched 19 innings, which I don't think we'll ever see that again?
No, we won't ever see that again. It's a fascinating thing. Obviously, when you go back to Major League Baseball back in that time, more than 100 years ago, things were a lot different. These days, you're lucky if you can get a starter past 4 innings. But Stan Kowalewski at that time did pitch 19 innings in that game, was the winning pitcher. gave up 12 hits and 6 walks. So he gave up 19 or 18 base runners in those 19 innings, but only gave up 2 runs and only struck out 4. So he got a lot of help from his defense. Some other interesting things in that game: Yankees reliever George Mogridge pitched 12 innings of relief, which another thing you'll never see again.
12 innings of relief.
Yes. The Indians in that season, 1918, had names that people know, like Ray Chapman and Tris Speaker and Smokey Joe Wood. And the Yankees also had a very interesting first baseman that day by the name of Wally Pipp, who eventually was replaced by Lou Gehrig, and we all know the story after that.
Wow. So the game goes 19 innings. Are you able to see a box score? I'm just wondering what would a box score look like? 19 innings. They must have cleared the benches.
Well, I do have the box score in front of me, and the interesting thing is the Indians played their starters, every one of them, all 19 innings.
Oh.
And the Yankees did have a substitution at catcher, and again, a couple pinch hitters and 2 pitchers, because remember, back in the American League, the pitchers hit. So they had a couple pinch hitters for the pitchers. And Stan Kovaleski was 1 for 8 at the plate that day as well.
Well, that's right. Because
Can you imagine catching 19 innings?
No, they didn't have
Steve
knee
O'Neill did
savers
that.
either. No knee savers for those
No.
catchers.
No, Steve O'Neill did that for the Indians and got 4 hits.
Just such a different game.
But it is such a different game, right? Because again, starting pitchers, how many key pitchers just in the first month of the 2024 season have been lost for Tommy John surgery, and these guys went out there and threw 12 and 19 innings. It's such a different game now.
Well, the other thing to take in consideration, there's many more players on a baseball roster than there was back in 1918. I think your relievers were actually basically guys that were just coming off starting. I mean, you didn't have a whole cast of characters sitting in the bullpen. I mean, your starters were expected to go 8 innings. You didn't have relievers. I mean, it's just, okay, well, if some guy gets kind of blown up, then you're just throwing a guy who threw that, a couple days beforehand. I mean, it's just such a different mentality. And you got to remember too, these guys are throwing double headers.
Right. Yeah.
Which is just, I mean, unbelievable. But there must be something to that, because I don't know how much, well, obviously there was no Tommy John at the time. We're talking about 1918, but it seemed like the injuries were much more limited at that time than what you see today. I don't know. I don't know what your thoughts are on that, Dusty.
Well, like you said, 106 years ago, there wasn't Tommy John surgery. There also wasn't spin rate and trying to throw 100 miles an hour on every pitch either. So guys could do that because they were conditioned to it. And to your other point, yeah, the relievers back then were your bad starting pitchers. There was no such thing as a Mariano Rivera or a Emmanuel Clase. They just couldn't start.
No.
And they weren't used very often. So, yeah, it's completely different than what it is now.
Well, Dusty, great information on Stan Kovaleski, who after 19 innings, I mean, do you think that guy was able to lift his arm that next day? I have no idea. I can only imagine how many pitches he threw. I mean, so we always talk about the 100 pitch count. He had to throw over almost 250 pitches that day.
Yeah, they didn't show pitch count back then, but they did say he faced 73 batters. So you can probably guess.
Oh gosh.
Extrapolate that. That's got to be at least 200 pitches in that game. And he did. I mean, we're talking about he won 20 games multiple times for the Indians back then, finished his career with Washington and then New York. He pitched until his age 38 years, so it worked for him.
Wow. Stan Kovaleski, not only the Polish crippler, but he also could call him rubber arm. Well, 19 innings got the win. Dusty, great information from May 24th, 1918 with the Indians win 3-2. Thanks again, Dusty.
Thanks, guys.
Cleveland! This is for you!
Ted, we're out and about Northeast Ohio, supporting our local businesses, bars, restaurants, and now also golf courses. It's that time of year, Ted. We're at it.
It's that time of year.
We had a busy time. I'm not gonna lie. This is a lot, but I'm not reading them all of them, but these are the top ones. So Let's see. Slim and Chubbies. That's become a staple. I mean,
That's a given.
Dapper Dan's, that's become a staple.
Sure.
I enjoy that so much. One time I went there twice in the same day. Copper Top Golf Course. Had an outing there with Baldwin Wallace. Outstanding time. Rawiga, which is in Seville. I took my son there to play 9 holes. That was great. Shell Creek in Medina. Great course. Mr. Sable treated me to golf there. That was a lot of fun. He says hello. Actually, he says, please tell Ted I did not say hello. I said, I certainly will. Scramblers in Strongsville. The Grand Fiesta in Strongsville. And a place, I will tell you this. You know, when you live in an area and you're around a place so much, you forget to go there. Does that happen to you?
All the time.
So there's a place called JoJo's in Medina, and it's been such a long time since I've gone there. It's right next to the library. And so there was a night I just wanted to go and spend some time on a patio. It was such a nice evening. They have redone their patio. It was super nice. They had a bar outside. They had a really nice patio, and I think their food is excellent too. I think they have very good pizza. So hats off to them. I have an interesting story, but I don't know where to put it. And it had to do with my golf outing that I played. Should I just do it now? Or should we
absolutely.
do it now? Okay. Yeah. So as many people know, when you play in a golf outing, you need to have some cash. That's just how it works. You got to pay and you have to drink. Those are 2 important things.
I just knocked over my microphone.
I know you're so excited about this story.
Yes.
So I used Chase Bank and went to the Chase Bank in Medina and took out my debit card, which I don't use that often. And I put it in the machine, try to get some money, and it tells me it's denied.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Now they're moving the Chase Bank. It's on Jefferson Avenue right now, and it's moving off of Pearl. So I'm like, all right, maybe there's something wrong with the ATM. So I'll go to another bank. So I make my way as I'm playing at Copper Top, and I'm going through Brunswick, and I just stopped at another bank. It wasn't a Chase Bank, but it was another bank. Go there, denied again. I said, okay. Now that tells me I have to call the customer service group. Okay, call the customer service group. The wait time was so long, they'll just call you back. Sounds great. Call me back. Dial it up, take the call. They said, what's your issue? I said, well, my issue is that my card's not working. Okay. Very nice gentleman on the phone. He was from India. Mentioned to me, he said, did you try everything you can? I said, yes. Okay. Let me see what the problem is. Comes back. He goes, yeah, I did see you try to make a transaction. Then he goes, your chip is dirty. I said, I'm sorry? Your chip is dirty.
Chip is dirty.
And he said it in an accent. Once again, I have many different folks that are of Indian descent, so I could say this. Said it as though your chip is dirty. So there's that joke of another podcast that I listened to. Yes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I obviously didn't laugh, but I'm just laughing to myself. And then I'm thinking, how do you know my chip is dirty? How do you know? Can you tell that when I put it in there? It's a possibility. So I cleaned the chip, went to a gas station. I guess I found out my chip was dirty because the
Your chip was dirty.
So that was my experience. So make sure, word to the wise to everyone, make sure you have a clean chip and not use a dirty chip or it's not going to work.
Clean your chip.
Clean your chip. There you go. That's my 2 cents.
Well, we took in, we're kings of minor league sports here.
Oh, yeah.
We went to some Monsters playoff games, had a great time. They do an outstanding job. The Monsters made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals, or finals, I should say.
Yes. Went to game 7.
7 games.
Yeah.
They were down 3-0. They made it 3-3, and they lost game 7 in overtime. So an amazing run for them. Great job by them. Super organization and a lot of fun. Their game presentation is amazing.
Yes, it is.
The captains we talked about earlier, food-wise, aside from the beer baseball bat, a couple highlights from them would be their foot-long hot dogs, the return of the foot-long, which I love, and nothing like a little stadium mustard on there. The only thing I would say is the hot dog's great. They need a bun that's the right size.
You got bad buns.
They're putting the regular size bun on the longer dog.
So let me get this straight. You're saying that the wiener that you had was longer than the bun.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. You deserve better.
Thank you for boiling it down. Yes. Yes.
That happens a lot with the foot long hot dogs.
Yes. So we had that. The other piece of the other food item that I wanted to highlight is the I don't know what they call it, ultimate nachos, nacho supreme.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nachos with pulled pork.
Yeah.
Oh my God, is that awesome? And it
Oh,
comes
yeah.
a plastic baseball helmet. Great stuff.
That is one of my favorite types. A place in Loggerheads in Medina, they have the pulled pork nachos, and it's absolutely amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's those are our highlights as we were out and about.
Well, Ted, thanks for being out and about in Northeast Ohio, spending your hard-earned dollars. And ladies and gentlemen, please get out and about, support your businesses.
Oh no, not a dad joke.
Ted, you hear about the king who went to the dentist?
No,
Yeah, he needed a new crown.
That joke was horrible.
Ken, we're coming to the end of episode number 137. You know, I've been coaching. This is the first year I've been the head coach of a baseball team.
How's that going?
We're 1-5.
Okay.
So we're struggling a little.
So what would you say you basically, are you like a Mike Hargrove coach, Pat Corrales?
I am a quiet coach,
Okay.
except, well, if the ball's in play and you're standing next to me, if there's contact with the baseball, I'm quite confident that my assistant coaches would say all they ever hear is, "Oh God." Anytime the ball is hit, oh God. So
Fair enough.
the last team that we lost to only had 8 players.
Oh,
However,
what
their
position do
pitchers
they
are
not?
both very good. So if you can't hit the ball,
What position do they not field?
one of the outfield.
Oh, so they play with 2 outfielders.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Not
Yeah,
gonna
wins a
matter if
win.
You can't get the ball to the outfield.
Yeah, wins a win. How
Yeah.
many more games do you have? You play what till July?
Yeah, I think we're at the halfway point.
Okay, fair
We have
enough.
a game tonight.
Let's go.
Yeah. I have a teenager now, Ken.
Oh, jeez.
Fritz celebrated his 13th birthday,
Wow.
and we were at the captain's game. There seems to be a lot going on at these captain's games. We're sitting in a group of people, and he says, "Hey, I need to see your phone for a minute. I need to show you something." And I said, "We're at a baseball game. You don't need my phone." He said, "No, I got to show you something." So he calls up on Amazon. He says, can I get this for my birthday? It's a fingerprint door lock that he wants for his bedroom.
Oh my.
My response, you're lucky you have a door on your bedroom.
It's a great answer. Yep. If he's not
I think
happy with that,
it
the
really
door could be removed.
All patrons in the area.
Who's he keeping out? His brothers?
I don't know.
Okay.
I
What's he
don't know.
got going in there? Is he growing stuff?
God, I don't know.
It's legal now. So
He and my middle son, sometimes they get along, and then they're just they're like oil and water. They don't get along.
Yeah. Yeah.
We are frequent flyers at the computer repair doctor store.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah. Cracked screens are a big problem.
Oh my. Okay.
Usually because somebody drops their.
Yeah.
However, the last one, when the guy told me that we were far and away the leader, he said if we ever start a loyalty program, I'd be the first one.
Can't you do an insurance thing and pay a monthly fee? It'd probably be cheaper.
I probably should. But Gus got mad at Fritz, took his hand and slammed it on the iPad.
Oh my. Oh. Did you take it away?
Oh, yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
didn't get it fixed right away.
No, good move.
Oh, yeah.
Got to send a message.
Yeah.
I like that. Well, good luck on baseball.
Yeah.
Keep doing your thing. One thing I've kind of taken up over the summer, I stole this from Scott Sable
Oh,
for a while, and I think you remember him talk. He watched a bunch of different movies at one point in time, and he was like logging this and what movies he was watching. He watched one summer 100 different movies, old movies. So I'm like, you know what? I kind of like to do that. So one of the movies that I've recently watched, I've watched it before, but I wanted to watch it again, is the movie Slapshot with Paul Newman. Okay. Once again, a lot of the stuff that they say and how they say it, you cannot say any of those things now or have that movie out now, but it's an older movie. I mean, it's Blazing Saddles, like, that type of stuff. So I'm watching the movie. This is recent. And I noticed one of the actresses looks very familiar. And this is like a love scene that Paul Newman has. And then he has like this discussion with this woman later. And I look at the woman, I'm like, okay, how do I remember who she is? And mind you, she's basically sitting up in bed and she's topless.
oh,
And I'm like, who is that? So I look at the actress and her name, and I look at the other things she's done.
hey, Ken,
Yes,
you got to look at her face.
I did.
Okay.
I did look at the face.
Okay.
So I look, and I'm like, oh, she was in the Christmas Story. Oh, I wonder what character she was in that.
Oh,
The lady's name is Melinda Dillon. She was the mother in Christmas Story.
oh,
And I'm thinking, wow.
ruin that.
I don't, well, I'll have obviously different thoughts when I watch that movie now, Christmas
Yeah.
Story. But I'm thinking, I wonder if many other people know that you could see the mother from Christmas Story in some bedroom scene with Cleveland native Paul Newman. There you go in Slapshot. So yeah, that was it's pretty interesting as I'm sitting there laughing to myself. So, but yeah, I'll have more updates on old movies that I watch, and hopefully I can connect it with some other actors and actresses. Most times they'll be clothed, but this instance they were not.
Hey, Ken, at the beginning of the show, we didn't do jersey numbers. Do we have jersey numbers?
We do. We have some for the Guardians, Indians, and then the Cleveland Clowns.
Oh, boy. All right.
Here we go. Any 37s that come to mind for you for the Guardians?
With the Chad OJ.
Yes. Very impressive.
Uh,
Larry Doby's one.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
A famous one for actually not being a player, but what a surgery is named after. Tommy John
Oh, really?
played for the Indians. Dennis Eckersley,
Yeah. Okay.
Dan Spillner.
He didn't go to 43 until he went to Oakland, huh?
That's correct.
Okay.
Bobby Witt, who's his son right now, is one of the best players in baseball. He played for us for a bit. Jake Westbrook, Cody Allen, Trevor Stephen.
Should have
How
known
about,
Westbrook.
how about for the Browns? Shot.
There's got to be, for some reason, the name Harrison is in my mind, but I don't know why that is. Is there anybody named Harrison?
There's one close, Anthony Henry.
Oh, okay.
I could see how you could say Harrison. Chris Rockins, remember Chris Rockins?
Oh, yeah.
And then Benny Thompson,
Oh, of course.
the special teams ace.
Yes.
Benny Thompson.
Yes.
There's none for the Cavaliers. We
Well,
don't have any.
that's-
Nothing.
Right. Okay.
Enough to make 37 with your hands as an official, so I don't think you're allowed to have that number. So yeah, like a mime.
Okay.
Well, great stuff. Well, what do you have coming up? I mean, obviously, I know you're going to do some Uber driving.
We got Uber driving and baseball. And when we're not doing that, we have hockey clinics.
I think when you have these baseball games, I used to yell this because I stole this from John Shalley at Ashland, and no one actually knows what it means. Just yell hard on top. Hard on top! Hard on top!
Okay. Yeah, I have no idea.
Baseball term. It sounds very sexual, let's be honest. And I
Yeah.
think you should yell that during the games and clap your hands and see what parents say.
Hard on top. Let's go.
There you go.
Okay.
It has to do with the swing, but I don't know. So, well, that's super exciting. Well, let's get some victories, huh? Let's do what you have to do.
Finish
Hit and
strong.
run and hit, put on a shift. I mean, do whatever you have to.
Right. Yes.
I love
Yeah,
it.
we're manufacturing runs any manner we can.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine. I have a small Ubering, work trips, and just doing the best to enjoy life. That's where I'm at, Ted. That's where we're at.
By the way, Fritz's baseball team, my oldest son,
Yeah.
they got no hit last night.
Did everybody-
And I don't know how this happens. He has an aluminum bat.
Yeah.
It's got I guess a plastic, or I don't know what the handle is. He broke the bat.
It's corked.
No, it's at the handle.
He's
Like-
swinging too hard. He's swinging too hard.
Is that what it is?
I love it, man.
Well,
That's
guess what?
great.
He's not making any contact. I can tell you that.
I love it. That is
Yeah.
great. Well, he's hitting hard on top.
He's
Good for him.
hard on top. Let's go.
Go. No doubles, hard on top. There it is.
Hard on top.
Ted, great episode. Really appreciate the time and effort you put into this. You know what I did? Absolutely nothing. I was utterly useless. You win nothing.
Thank
Good day,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
But thanks for your hard work on this, and to our listeners. And I do have some ideas for some other stuff that'll be probably popping up here soon, a couple guests and things like that. Also wanted to congratulate. Before we leave,
yes.
kudos to some former people on our podcast.
Oh,
So David Lee Morgan, remember that we had him on? He was the old Akron Beacon Journal
yeah.
journalist, and then he was
Yeah.
doing a documentary on Marion Motley. That has
Right.
kind of taken off. So congrats to him.
Well,
Ben
we should take
Murphy?
credit for that. That's why it took off.
Oh, of course. This is the only reason I'm bringing this up. Ben Marthy, who was an artist who lives just down the street from one of my very good friends, he's taken off. He was actually on Cleveland Scene as he's up for an award on Cleveland Scene as like one of the best local artists. So you could vote for him. So congrats to him. He's been playing the House of Blues and a host of other places. So he's been doing great. Someone that I actually recently saw for my parents' anniversary, who goes by the name of Kylie Logan. Remember, she was the author that wrote I think it's like somewhere in the range of 60 books.
Yeah.
Well, she wrote a book called The Secrets of Bones, a mystery. And someone's making a movie based on that. That's
No.
coming out in August of 2024. So super exciting. Congrats to all those wonderful people that are having success. And it has probably absolutely nothing to do with us, but they just happen to be on our podcast.
By the way, speaking of success, Phil Yale,
Yes.
I got my podcast award.
So nice.
I know this is a audio only, so nobody can see this, but I'm showing this to Ken.
It is first class.
Yeah, Phil sent a plaque in the shape of a 45 record with my name misspelled and the link to the podcast.
I don't think it's misspelled. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Is that
Ted
what?
Klopp.
We'll just put
I'm
that.
going to start calling you. I forgot to call you that, Ted Klopp. That I'm telling you right now, that is first class from Phil Yale. He handed me one for one of our alumni meetings, and I'm like, "Are you serious, man?" I mean, okay, for our podcast guests, let's be honest. What do? We say thanks, right? Thanks for joining us.
Clock.
We give them the big wave. Phil's sending out small records. I'm
Right.
thinking, oh my God.
Right.
Which is a shame. No, first class from Phil Yale. He's had some really good podcasts. He's actually had some up and coming people for some music concerts, and we've been on TV. So yeah, once again, that's Phil's track. So check that out. But exciting stuff. Wanted to make sure we got that out there as well. Ted, do you have anything else?
I know it's been 5 weeks since we had a show, but boy, I think we covered it all now.
I think we did a full covering. I'm looking at your background. I just noticed all the Star Wars figurines. That's awesome.
You like that?
Are those okay, so what Ted has is he has all these different figurines. Like I see Darth Vader. Oh my gosh, I didn't see the second level. Are
Oh,
these the old school figurines or these newer ones? What is that?
These are newer ones that have a stand.
Okay.
Decided I wanted to collect them all. There are classic figures and there are newer people in there too. Like we got R2D2 and BB-8 up here.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren's over here, and then we have, Han Solo, Chewbacca, some of the older characters. So yeah, we got them all.
They got some new movies coming out too. So
Yeah.
at some point in time. But that's awesome. Is that and then your shirt is Star Wars with Who's Your Daddy?
Yes.
love it.
Absolutely.
With Darth Vader.
Yes.
Outstanding. Well, Ted, great fun. I know we'll do this again very soon, but please, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, we're just two middle-aged men in Cleveland.
Two Middle-Aged Men in Cleveland is sponsored by Westminster AV, custom audio-visual packages for all occasions.